This is how I make Mortise and Tenon using hand tools only. This is the technique I learned from Paul Seller's masterclasses and it works great. I set up my marking gauge to the width of the chisel I will cut my mortise with. I don't have mortising chisel, so I use this one and it works fine. Then I set up the fence of the marking gauge so the mortise will be in the center of the board. Then I mark the tenon and mortise positions. I start by light pass first and then gradually press the gauge until I have nice visible lines. Then I mark the shoulders, which represent how long the tenon will be. I start the cut with the saw away from the line on the waist side. Later I'll adjust the tenon to fit the mortise. Be careful not to cut into the shoulder, as this will be seen later. For the shoulder cut, I make a little wall with the chisel so it can guide the saw into the cut. I try to cut as close as possible or bang on the line. If you are unsure about your sewing skills, leave a bit more waste to clean it up later with a chisel. I like to cut away from the tenon sides a bit, but in my case this was unnecessary. Here you don't want to cut with the saw into the tenon, thus weakening it. I transfer the tenon width to the mortise. Then I chop the mortise out. Here I make sure my chisel is not rocking sideways, but going vertical into the mortise. This will ensure that the mortise is square. I also place a bit of tape to the chisel so I don't overshoot my depth. With the smaller chisel I clean up the waste inside the mortise. The tenon here is purposely left thick so I can trim it to a nice fit into the mortise. I do that with the router plane. I check few times to see the fit, and if it's too tight, I return to a router plane. Finally, I put glue on both tenon and mortise and put them together with some clamps, making sure it's square. I hope you learned something new, or if you didn't, then I hope you enjoyed this video, as it takes a lot of work to make it. And if you want me to use a mortising chisel, please support me on Patreon so I can buy one. Thanks for watching, see you soon!